I completely forgot to record. Okay, we're recording now. I haven't gone too far. That's okay. Shoot, I wanted to make sure to record for everybody who is working those jobs that they hopefully love, or like me did. Um anyway, so I would get to the point to where I would just like take whatever I had left over and have like this little uh bowl thing that I would sit on my desk at work, and I would just plop them in there like once a month and just be like, please, people, just come take these things. And so, I mean, that was good, but at the end of the day, right, I spent more time doing things and I really ended up using them. So I will say that now over time I have kind of reeled myself back. So I only make like up to 50 at a time. Same way that I did, doesn't matter what the samples are. So I've got my Scentsy fresh samples still here. I made 50 of them. And this is all I've got left. And so I've made myself a promise, even though I've bought more of the little sponges to make more dish soap samples, that I'm not going to make those till these leave my desk. So I'm going to continue to send those out. And I did that with a lot of my mailings, but that's just kind of how I'm making sure that I'm not overly doing things, if that makes sense. So when you're making samples, just remember, make as much as you're going to pass out. And then you can always make more, because that's fun to make more. And along with Scent and Warmer of the Month, like I said, it's a great marketing tool, and it's just another reason to be able to reach out to those customers every time. That's what I was going to tell you, that I get asked a lot about who to send samples to or how many to send out. Um, Again, guilty of this, right? I'm human. I have had months where I have sent way more samples than I probably should have, and spent way more on postage than I probably should have, because obviously it didn't yield the huge results that I had spent mailing everything out. So again, I try and refrain and pull myself back and remind myself to kind of stick to a budget. So if you have a postage or a mailing budget that you've kind of decided for yourself, try and stick to it as best you can. There are some really fun ways to be able to do it to stay within budget and still get samples out. One of those is I and I made these on Vistaprint, but it's just a postcard. I order through Vistaprint when they have their sales. So I like to save money. And I know that I need to have stuff in stock, right? So sometimes I might order some thank you cards or whatever. These are just postcards for specifically for the scent of the month. And so I just made my design, use whatever graphic program you have or feel comfortable with, or you can just go on Vistaprint and they have templates there that you can use. But a really great way that I have found when I am looking to really stick to that mailing budget, or maybe I'm sending a sample or someone's requested a sample who's never purchased from me before, or maybe they have purchased from me before, but it's been like forever, right? And you're like, okay, am I really going to sit here and spend like $2 putting together this whole sample pack to send out to somebody who may or may not reorder from me? Or if they're, again, a brand new customer, somebody that I met on social media or contacted me and said, hey, I'd love to have a sample, right? Again, if I did that for every single person who asked me for one of those, I wouldn't make any money. None of us would. So one of the ways to keep it expensive is to just create a postcard. And like I said, I get these through Vistaprint when they have the sales. That's when I order. But you can also, for a respectable alternative, sorry, that would be my husband. Hello, I'm in the middle of a meeting. Okay. Another way to be respectful of your business budget is to utilize, and I think most of us have, maybe a Walgreens or a CVS, one of those places, right, that does like the photo prints. I know Walgreens and CVS around me does them. And so you can go to their website, right? Again, create your graphic however you want on whatever graphic thing you're on, right? Go to Canva, you can do the free option and all of these great things. I know Kimber's on here. Kimber is going to be doing a training on Canva. So if you're interested in that, she will be your Canva guru for the group here. But what you can do is just make whatever you need to. And then you go to the Walgreens website, the CVS website, and then you upload it just like you would if it was a picture on your phone, right? Because once you've made your graphic, you save it as a picture on your phone. That's the same way that CVS and Walgreens does their prints for regular photos, right? So you would just use this as a 4x6 print and send it to Walgreens. Usually you can get them for like what, like 20 cents each or something. It's fairly inexpensive. So even if you wanted to do like 20 of them at a time, right? It's not going to cost you too much. And you just go pick them up literally in like an hour or a couple of days if you want to wait to go get them. But that is a really cost-effective way to make a postcard of quite literally anything, but in this example, for sending samples. So like I said, on this one, it just says, need this in your life. It's 10% off this month. Enjoy your whiff of the scent of the month. That is all it says on this, right? And it's my little, hello. And so that way, all I have to do, because I get my scent and warmer of the month kit, right? All I do is I don't know where the stickers are now, way over somewhere. Here's some, right? And I just take one of the little stickers off of there, plop it right on my little hand, just like that. See, very art crafty, right? I actually designed my postcard on Over because that's where I design everything, but yeah, Canva. And Over has a free version too, if you want to do Over. One of the things that I like, I do get the paid version of Over simply because I use it for all my graphics, but they have a really great shortcut of you can just remove the background, like one click and it removes the whole background. I think Canva has the same thing though. Not sure if it's probably on the paid version. I don't know. But it doesn't have to be this, right? You can just stand up against the wall and have the same effect behind you. So I throw a sticker on there. And then what I've done, you can keep the back completely blank and you could just mail it like a regular postcard, right? Postcard stamps here in the US. I know we've got our Canada team. Now we have our New Zealand team growing, right? But here in the US, a regular postage stamp is different than a postcard stamp. It's cheaper to get postcard stamps. Don't remember the exact amount. I always just go to the post office and ask them for like a thing, right? Give me a book of those, right? And I keep them on hand because this way I can set this out. On this one, I have just put my QR code because I'm Jacqui and I put a QR code on literally everything, including the car. And it just says ready to shop, Jacqui Duran. And then there's my Instagram handle and it just says scan me right there, right? So they can hold their phone up. That just takes them directly to my website. That's how I created that, right? Postcard stamp on this, put somebody's name and address on that, out the mail, out into the mail, boom, you've done samples, right? Granted, it's a scratch and sniff or rub and sniff sticker, right? They can't warm it, but at least they're getting a whiff of it, which by the way, might I just say, this is pink cotton. This has been out of the plastic for a minute, at least since we moved in. So at least a month it's been out of the plastic because obviously I've been using it. It's cut off. It still smells like pink cotton. Still looks amazing, right? But whole point is you can throw this in the mail, easy peasy, and not spend a fortune, right? So what I do with my samples is I will get those out normally how I do like a regular felt sample or a mold or whatever you're doing with your samples or the Scentsy Fresh or the dish soaps, whatever, right? I will only send those to people who have ordered from me and I try and keep it within the last 90 days. So I'll either pull up my Amy app and see what those recent orders were or who they were, or I'll go to my workstation if I'm sitting here in the office, right? I can pull up the workstation and make my notes and do the whole thing, right? Those are the people that get the nice samples. The other people who get the nice premium samples, I don't know what we call them, are anybody who subscribes to my Scentsy Club. Point for, or the point for that, this is why I need the coffee. The point for that is because, right, we want to celebrate our Scentsy Club subscriptions, right? The people who are subscribing to our Scentsy Club, because that is reoccurring PRV that we don't have to work for, even if they subscribe and they get it once a month, every other month, every 3 months, right? That's PRV that you can not have to work for, right? So to speak. We know that Jane, who lives in Texas, is going to get a 3-pack of bars every other month. So I know that I'm going to at least have 17 in PRV when her process, or when her subscription processes every single other month, right? So I can kind of keep track of that on my end. And to me, to send a package with maybe one of these samples, a Scentsy Fresh sample, maybe a nice big mold, wax mold. If I've got some dish soap samples, some counter cleans, that whatever it is, right? Put that in a bag, spend $2 or $3 to make it all fun, throw in the confetti because it's a party, and boom, that is worth it to send that to those people, right? That is also worth it for me to send to the people who have ordered from me in the last 90 days, because most of them usually spend at least $30 to $40 or more. I do have a couple that maybe have just ordered like a light bulb, which is very rare, but I do have those every so often. Just because they ordered something smaller doesn't mean that I'm not going to still recognize them, because I've been in that same situation where I just needed one thing and it was like, oh man, I'm probably going to pay more in shipping and taxes than I am on getting the one thing that I needed, but I'm still going to order it because I need it, right? So I'm still going to honor those people, but that's kind of how I keep track, per se, of who I'm mailing to and where my budget is going when it comes to mail outs. Because, like I said, I am guilty as heck of doing the whole shebang and sending to everybody who requested one, and then sitting there going, well, they never, I asked them if they liked the sample and they said, yeah, but they never even ordered, or right. And all that money is just like, crap, I could have used that on my other people, right? Who were ordering. So that's kind of just how I do those. So if that helps a lot of you, because I know when it comes to making samples and even getting, like just ordering these little containers, right, from Amazon, all of that starts to add up. And so I don't want to be sitting here spending every single month pouring out money, not knowing if I'm going to get anything in return. So I just I try to be a smart business lady. I try. I still have my moments. Don't you worry. I still do. So that is going to be processing tomorrow. So if you want to make sure to check, those of you who are newer as well, you can go to the account tab on your workstation and you can opt in for either the scent or the warmer of the month kit. Like I said, it will not process until the 15th. Usually it's around 3 a.m. for me is when mine usually hits on the morning of the 15th. And you do have all the way until April 28th to be able to get either one of those kits. And yes, Kimber, you get the PRV for it. So if it's a scent of the month, that's usually that flat $35 PRV. 35 PRV is what you're going to get off of that. The warmer of the month price does change every month depending upon the price of the warmer. I know we've got a conversion chart somewhere on the page. I'll try and rebump that back up, or maybe I'll just copy it into this group. But I like to keep it. It's probably on my phone. I like to keep that simply because even myself, I'm like, wait a minute, that warmer is going to be $50. So what does that mean for my subscription amount, right? So I've got a little sheet that will help you to keep track of what it's going to actually be. Thank you, Kimber. She's going to post it to the team page. You're awesome. Making sure I didn't miss anything else. Oh, Heather, I do everything for dramatic effect. Thank you, Kimber, though, for posting that. So that's the dealio for Scent and Warmer of the Month. So just a reminder there. So again, if that's for you, or reminding your team members or your newer team members who have just joined or rejoined, it's a great reminder that that's going on, because they very well may want in on this, right? The scent's good and that warmer's cute as can be. It's got cute in the name, for goodness sake. It's called Suck Cute Lint. How adorable is that? I don't know. All right, so that is going to help you with your PRV. So anybody who's working on getting active, or if you are a lead or above trying to hit that 500 so you can get paid a title, right? That's what we talk about, not leaving money on the table every month, right? So if you are a lead or above, your goal needs to be getting paid a title. And the one thing that you have to do to make sure you get paid a title is to have a minimum of 500 PRV. So that may look like 2 parties for you, right? If an average party is about $250, then that's how you can kind of plan your month and go, okay, I need to make at least 500. So I need to at least have 2 parties happening, however they happen, right? Whether it's online, whether it's a bingo party at your house, however it is that you're partying, right? So that's how you can kind of set up your month to make sure that you're hitting your goals, because we have to have plans in place of action of what we're going to do, right? The thing that I used to find was my stumbling block before I really kind of caught my groove, so to speak, was I never really set up my next month for myself. Meaning the first of the month would come up, right? And maybe either I was so excited because I did so great in that last month, or I'm still riding that high, right? I did so well, look at my sales, and I recruited 3 people, whatever, right? So excited. Or sometimes I was bummed. Oh, darn it, that month sucked, right? So the first of the month would happen, and then I'd just sit there like, huh. All right, I guess I got to start over now, right? Every single month we start over at 0. So what I start to do, usually about the 15th of the month, that's usually the last 2 weeks of the month, is I will start looking forward to next month and where I need to be, right? I know for me personally, I am working on getting to be consistent at 2000 PRV every single month. Now, for me, that is a stretch. Jacqui's usually never the top salesperson. Been doing this since 2012. I don't know if I've ever had that title, but does not mean that I will never stop trying, and does not mean that that is not my goal every single month, because I would rather aim for 2000 and maybe fall short at 1500 than say, oh, I'm just going to try and be active and just do just enough to get active and then just be done. So for me, if I try and aim that high and I fall a little short, okay, I gave it my all. I did what I could do. Um, Give it a go. Yes, party packs, the QR party method. Yes, so that's fantastic. I'm excited that you guys are doing that. I'm also getting mine together as well. I'm using showcase brochures for mine. A couple of them I've done catalogs for, but the rest I'm doing showcase brochures. Melly, the QR party. So that is what they're showcasing in the um movement. What is it? The movement group. Why can I not remember the name of that group? The movement group, the monthly movement.
It's the monthly movement. And if you go to that group, you need to make sure you answer all the questions, because if you don't, they won't accept you into the group. They denied a bunch of people because they're not answering the questions.
Good to know. So they are teaching that in that group and showing how to do that. Basically, what it's doing is taking a QR code. Hi, I would like to be your poster card child for QR code usage. And then making them on stickers, or I don't know, you could probably make them on pieces of paper and just slap it on with some tape or some washi tape. I don't even know, right? Putting it throughout the catalog. And then that way, all they have to do is then take their phone And most phones, especially if you're Apple, you just open your camera. On Android, I think it's the same way, or maybe you can just get a free QR code reader on your phone. It's just an app, and you hold it over the QR code. And what that does is it pulls up a link. And I believe that the way that they are setting everything up is it's linking it to maybe, like here, I'm on the Mickey and Minnie page, right? So maybe if I had a QR code here, it would go to a video that maybe talks about our licensing with Mickey and Minnie, or how cute it is, or, all the things, right? So it's kind of just maybe being, if you want to look at it a little differently, being a little bit more interactive without being in person. Does that make sense? Right. So then when you're on the Scentsy pod page, right? With the Scentsy Go and the mini fan and then the wall fan diffuser, there could be a QR code here that maybe is either you or linking to somebody else's short little video, 1 to 2 minutes, right? Just showing either how to do it or why it's so great or how easy it is or how wonderful it is at the office, right? Awesome. I think it's a really great way to get that interaction from our customers and still do it without contact, right? We've been living in this no contact world for long enough that it's almost starting to become like a way of life. And for introverts all over the world, we are uniting. So, this is a really great way to be able to keep that interactive moment with your customers or your host and your party goers, but not be there in person. So, it's a fun idea. It's a really great way to do it. Like I said, you could do it in the catalogs themselves. Again, if you're working on more of a budget, you could definitely do the same thing using a product list. You could do the same thing using a showcase brochure, right? You could do the same thing setting it up on your VIP page. Maybe don't paste the QR code because that might be awkward if somebody's on their phone on your page. They're not going to be able to scan it, but just show the link, right, for each little video. Another great way to do it without spending any money out of pocket. So, if I can find ways to save money when it comes to anything, I will figure out a way to do it. So it just kind of depends on how you want to do that. But great question, Melly. Great question. And yes, Kimber is definitely all in on that project. So she definitely can help you out there. So we've got that. Scentsy Club, of course, you want to be trying to talk about Scentsy Club. When they first came out with Scentsy Club 4 years ago now, 3 years ago, I don't even know. I just know today is the 14th of April. I remember when they came out with it, and right after they had come out with it, it was during family reunion that year, whatever year it was. We had world tour in the spring. After that, it was in person. Can you believe that? Like we were like in person and seeing people in real life. And I was asked to present on Scentsy Club. And obviously we were all still new to it. And one of the ways that I still to this day have never forgotten it, if you guys have ever seen the movie Fight Club, the number one rule in Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club, right? And so the way that I did my whole presentation was, well, that's Fight Club, but this is Scentsy Club. And the first rule with Scentsy Club is you talk about Scentsy Club, right? Because we've got a lot of perks. So again, another way to kind of rephrase your wording. So instead of saying or recruiting or sponsoring or the word party, right? We're trying to find different ways to say different things to make it fun and exciting, right? Is to be able to utilize perks, right? Because when I think of perks, I'm thinking ways that I'm going to either get something for free or at a discount, or I'm the first to know about it, right? That's what kind of goes through my mind because I'm very much a consumer. And so, especially when I see things online, if I see, oh, you get a perk if you do this, oh, well, okay, right? Scentsy Club is really all full of perks. That's what it's all about. It's all about perks because the first thing there is the always get my bar feature. So when we have these limited time offer scents, right? Like our Moana Spirit of Montanui scent that came out, right? Sold out very, very fast. Our Life's a Garden Wax collection, right? Those, um, I think apple and parsley stuck around for a minute, but it finally went out of stock, right? But all of those scents, when they are released, the same thing with our Lady and the Tramp scent and our Sebastian Kiss the Girl scent, right? We can add those, and our customers can too, to a Scentsy Club. So even when they sell out, go out of stock, right? They run out of supplies, then being able to have them in a Scentsy Club means you're going to always get those. Now, just like with everything else with Scentsy Club, depending on how much they like the fragrance, there are some fragrances that I have in my club. Not ashamed to say, I do have 3 separate clubs. I have one that comes every month, I have one that comes every 2 months, and I have one that comes every 3 months. The reason for this is because I purchase Scentsy for my own personal use, right? In my every 3 month subscription, I have my laundry stuff. So I like the laundry liquid and I like the scent soft. Those are like my 2 go-tos with the laundry. I love them. So I have one of those coming every 3 months, right? Because that's about the time that I usually run out of it. Another thing that I have in the 3 month subscription is a couple of the scents that I know I personally do not warm often, right? And so one of those is the Ursula from the Villains collection. It was the Ursula wax, and I have the Evil Queen, the Just One Bite. I just remember them by the pictures. Those are in my 3 months, every 3 months club, right? So I can make sure I'm still getting those scents, but it's nothing that I'm going to warm or use on a regular basis. So that's kind of how I space it out. Same thing with my club that comes every other month. So I have things in there that I may not use every single month, but one of the things in there is cotton cleanups. They are still out of stock. Wah, wah, wah. Hopefully they will come back soon. But it's like things like that. And I always, for me as a consultant, I like to have bulbs on hand. So I do have a 3 pack of each size of the bulbs, just so I can have bulbs on hand. The way that I tell my customers is more specifically to my local customers, really, but to all my customers, I always offer, if a bulb ever blows out, if you need a new one, let me know. I will send one your way, right? That's just me trying to be a great customer service, giving the best service I can to my people. So I like to keep bulbs on hand just for that purpose. If somebody happens to run out, I like to have those. So those come every other month in that subscription. In my subscription that comes every month, I got my whiff box in there because I want to make sure I get that every single month. I have like my absolute favorite, always get my bar scents, which is like Echo and Thunderstorm. And I have the NFL Gridiron Rush. That one's fantastic. Okay. So if you have customers who are loving those scents specifically, the always get my bar feature is how they need to be utilizing Scentsy Club, even if it's just for those scents, right? Then, of course, the other perk of Scentsy Club is once they spend $30 or more, they get 10% off. Automatic discount. It shows you, and if you've never played around with the Scentsy Club subscription, go ahead and go to your own website. Go to your website, click on the word Scentsy Club, and build a subscription. You won't be billed for it unless you actually put your credit card number in. So you can't break it. You can't accidentally order it unless you accidentally put your credit card number in. But it's going to help you to be able to not only just become familiar with how it kind of looks and the different things that you can do and what all you can get in the subscription, right? So that way, when you're talking to your customers, or maybe you want to do a screen record and share it to your VIP page, here's how you create a Scentsy Club subscription, right? You can do that very easily and show them just how easy it is. But if you haven't looked at it, they've really updated the Scentsy Club look of the actual features, right? So it really stands out what your discount is. So they know right away if they've got $30 or more, they see that 10% discount. Here's your discount, right? And it shows it in big, bold red on the website. Once they hit $60, they unlock one item to get at half price. Now, all of the items that you can purchase through a Scentsy Club subscription are only items that are consumable, right? So warmers, as much as we'd love to give people in the Scentsy Club a half price warmer every single month, right? Who wouldn't want that? But that's not a consumable product, right? A warmer, you don't have to buy every single month. But laundry, Scentsy Clean, oh my goodness. You send him to work and he just keeps texting. So what was I saying? He totally threw me off. $60 or more, yes. So consumable items. So the laundry, the clean, the cotton cleanups when they're back in stock. But more specifically, so what I save mine for that every month subscription, it's over $60. I get the whiff box. I choose that as my half price item. Simply because for the best bang for my buck, remember Jacqui likes to save money, the best bang for my buck is to get that whiff box at $15. Because if you add up all the stuff in there, usually it's right under $40 and the price alone is already a discount at 30. But to get it at 15, I mean, I'm not very good at math. I don't know what the percentage is, but you can figure out what that percentage is. And then you could shoot that out and maybe put it on a flyer, put it on your website, put it on your VIP page, right? Hey, you could save up to 80%, whatever it is, whatever the percentage is, right? Just by joining Scentsy Club. Those are all the perks of being able to be involved with Scentsy Club. Like I said, those are, or that's the way that you want your customers who love Scentsy as much as we do. If they're not going to join your team, they at least need to be getting a discount every single time they get their products. So the way that I tell my customers is, you need to be getting a discount when you're buying your Scentsy. I'm going to tell you this every time you order from me. And the best way to do that is to either start a Scentsy Club or host a party. And to host a party, you don't have to do a party per se. I have a lot of people who they want nothing to do with the whole party theme, right? They don't want to do it, even though it's online. And I tell them, I do all the work, right? They don't care. They're like, no, I don't want to end on the party thing. I just want to order what I want to order. That's fine. To those people, here's what I tell them, because I tell them the same thing every time. I'm here to save you money. So I understand you don't want to do it as a party. That's fine. No worries. I get it. I wouldn't either. I'd be too busy too if I had everything else going on. So I'm going to just create a shopping link for you on my website. You can go ahead and place your order, and then you can share this link on your Facebook, on your Instagram, wherever you want to. And if you can have your friends and family or your followers, whatever, whoever uses that link, we can keep it going as long as you want to. As soon as it gets up to 200, you have now unlocked the host rewards, right? So boom, they didn't have to do simply anything but share a link, right? So for those people who don't want anything to do with the party concept, that's what I do is I tell them, I'm going to give you an exclusive shopping link. It's just for you. It's got, and I name it with their name, right? This is Salad Joe's Scentsy link, right? Or whatever it is that I name it, right? I always use their name. And then that way they can just keep it going. If they've kept it going for like 3 months and nobody's ordered on it, okay, no problem. I can always either, if I've got individual orders, I'll throw orders onto it just to try and get it up to that party total for that guest. And then that way, again, it's just showing my customers that I will do anything I need to do to help them get their Scentsy at a discount. And it's also helping me, right? Because every single month, remember, we all start out at zero again. I need to make sure, because my income for Scentsy, I do this full time. This is what pays the bills in our household. This is what pays for our house. This is what pays for the electric. I just paid the car payment today, right? Like all of that comes from my business. And so I want to make sure that next month I can make sure the bills are paid. So I'm constantly setting myself up to be able to have that income coming in. So I'm looking forward. I'm always looking to see how I can create either parties or how I can maybe gather, if it's LTOs or whatever's happening at the time, right? Putting everything together to be able to get to that dollar amount, simply because if I have a party, and I do always have what I call a rolling party on my website, and I think this month it just says local orders here or something. I just closed one that said April orders. Um, but what I do is if there's no host, then I will reach out. I will, again, pull up my Amy app, or I'll look on the workstation and I'll see who spent the most money with me in the last 90 days of my customers, who spent the most money. And then I will text them or message them, however we normally talk. And I'll say, hey, heads up, I'm closing a party and I happen to have an extra half off item. Is there anything that you want? I'd be more than happy to add it on for you. Every single time they say yes. Anybody I ask that to, they say yes. And sometimes it's a 6 pack of bars. They're like, yeah, throw me in a 6 pack of bars of this, this, and this. This is what I want, right? $15. Awesome, right? They're so excited. And for me, yeah, I'm giving away one of my host rewards that I could have used for myself. But let's be real, Jacqui has enough Scentsy, right? And in my customers' eyes, you look like the fantastic consultant who is always going to be there for them, right? So you're always serving them. You're helping them to realize why anytime they think of Scentsy, they're going to think of you. Why anytime they maybe hear somebody, if they work outside of the home, which I don't know. I mean, I know there's certain people who work outside the home, but you know what I mean, right? So if they're out just having conversations and somebody brings up Scentsy, what are they going to do? They're going to remember you. You're going to be then known whenever the word Scentsy is mentioned, because you have now created this bond with your customer. And that customer, I mean, I have customers who have been my customers for 5, 6 years. And that's simply because when I do have an extra host reward, I'll offer it out. I let them know whenever they purchase a warmer. If you ever need a bulb, holler. I'm sure I probably have one, or if not, I can get you one, right? I'm doing these little things and making sure that my customers are satisfied. Because at the end of the day, we are in direct sales. This is what we do. And to be able to have customers who will come back and refer people to you, or when they decide or think of, hey, maybe I want to do what you do, you're the one they're going to come to. So it all comes down to how you're serving your customers. And that's what's going to help you increase your sales every single month. Because the more that you're pouring into your customers, like I said, the more they're going to come back, the more they're going to refer you. When they're on Facebook, and I know I've seen it a million times, right? I even have, since I've got a lot of Scentsy consultants who just follow me on Facebook, right? And even on there, I will have people go, hey, does anybody know a consultant in this area? Or hey, does anybody know, or anybody on my friends list have a Scentsy consultant, right? I'll have people tag me or refer me on those different posts. Why? Because they remember me, right? So that's how we really want to build those relationships, because we are, at the end of the day, selling a product. We're selling a product. And we don't have to feel salesy about it. And I know that's, for me, that was one of my biggest things to really get over the hump of, was that feeling of feeling like an icky salesperson. I hated feeling like that. I hated asking people to host a party. I hated it. It felt icky. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel authentic to me. So I had to change my wording. I had to change the way that I looked at things. Like I said, talking about Scentsy Club, I always say, hey, if you want all the perks, I got a club that you want to join, right? This is how I'm trying to make them feel like I'm not here just to sell to you. I am here not only to save you money, but I am here to show you how best to save money. Because if anybody knows how to get the greatest deal with Scentsy, it's a Scentsy consultant, right? because we know our bundle and saves. We know the Scentsy Club, right? We know that there's things that they're going to want at a discount, and we know how to help them do that, being that great servant. So let's talk real quick as I round out the meeting here with sponsoring, because it's always going to be a great topic, and it's always a good topic, because one of the things we should always be doing in our business is not only focusing on our sales and our personal business, but it's also sponsoring and building our team. So I will tell you that, and I know you guys have heard it from me a million trillion times, is that consistency is really where it's at. And honestly, it's not necessarily consistency of sponsoring new people, right? Because I know I myself, throughout my Scentsy journey, I've sponsored a lot of people over the years, and some have loved it and have stayed. And some are like, no, this isn't for me. This isn't my time. It's not working for me. That's fine. I find that even those people who maybe left and now decide they want to come back because it's free, right? To rejoin, that they will be pulled to the people who are consistently working their business. And we might think that we're consistently working our business every single day, but honest to goodness, the only way that other people know is if we are posting about it on social media, if we are sharing about it when we're talking to people, when we are at the grocery store. If you have a Scentsy shirt, throw it on and go to the grocery store. I don't know how many times I've gone to the grocery store with just a Scentsy shirt on, sweats and my slides. This is a mess, right? But that does not mean that if somebody were to ask me for a catalog, I usually keep product lists in my purse. But the point being is, if somebody were to ask me and be like, "Oh, you Scentsy? Do you sell Scentsy?" Right? They recognize the term Scentsy. They know what Scentsy is. Most people kind of do. I always at least have something to give them, right? These are the ways that we're going to be able to stay consistent. And these are the ways that people are going to view you if they see you consistently working your business. I know a lot of consultants are really caught up in the fear of being told no if somebody wants to join their team. That fear of no is a strong fear to get over. But at the end of the day, it's just a simple no. That doesn't mean you're not going to cook dinner tonight. That doesn't mean that tomorrow you're not going to try and send out or mail out your samples. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be a consultant tomorrow because somebody told you no today, right? We have to learn in this business that this is not for everybody. And I totally get that. But for somebody who wants to have some flexibility, have some extra income, or wants this to be the full-time income, right? This is honest to goodness the way to do that. And oh, Heather's leaving. She does have to go. I think she's got to get to work, actually. Speaking of work, right? So knowing that this is going to help somebody is really where I tend to focus when I'm talking to somebody about the opportunity of joining Scentsy. So I don't necessarily approach it with, hey, I'm a Scentsy consultant and do you want to join my team? Because again, to me, that feels very icky. And I'm like, nope, 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 not saying it. I won't say anything at all. I will literally button it up and I won't say nothing. But if I start to have a conversation with somebody and maybe they see, because usually they're seeing me either on social media or in person because I'm wearing a shirt, probably, right? That's the reason they're talking to me, is because they see that I didn't just do one post once a month. I didn't do just one VIP post last month, right? I was consistently showing products. I was consistently sharing how I was working my business. I was consistently taking pictures whenever I make samples. I was consistently talking about how great the business was, or how exciting this product is going to be, right? Always having those conversations, and those conversations online should sound like the conversations that you would have if you were in person, because that's how it's going to be the most authentic. For years, I struggled with trying to put like the sales words or the sponsoring words into my brain, going, how can I put this out so somebody will want to be like, "Ooh, I want to join her today," right? I overthought it too much, overthink everything. But I was truly overthinking the whole process, because that's not what people weren't joining me because I said, "Hey, I sell Scentsy. Do you want to join my team?" That's not why they joined. They joined because they saw that I was constantly talking about how much I love what I do, how easy it is to work it. And for years I did, right? Up until 3 years ago, I had my full-time job. And when I say full-time, it was 40 to 50 plus hours every single week. And it was intense and it was stressful. And I hated every minute of it. But being able to work my Scentsy business around that, I was still posting about how much I couldn't wait to leave work to go home and work my Scentsy business, right? And people saw that over time. And that is truly how I had conversations. It wasn't, "Hey, do you want to join my team?" It's, "Hey, this is what I do and I really like it." And, my one thing, my first big why, or my first big goal with Scentsy, when I really started working it as a business, was I want to make enough to make the car payment every single month. And our car payment at the time was like $378, 378 or 350. It was right around there, right? I was like, that's all I want this to do. I don't need it to do anything else. I just need it to make my car payment because our budget is strapped. So that is what I focused on. And so I would do my posts and I would talk about what I loved about Scentsy, and how I enjoyed making the samples, and how I enjoyed having team meetings and all of the things, right? And so when people saw that I was actually doing it because I enjoyed it, and people saw that I continued to do it because I was able to actually take care of things, they saw that it wasn't just a flash in the pan. It wasn't just a, "Oh, she's just doing that for this month. I'm sure she'll be doing something next month," right? I was always there. And so those people, even if you think that they are not watching what you're doing on social media, they're watching what you're doing on social media. If they're not clicking the like button or they're not double tapping, that does not mean they're not seeing what you're doing, because they're watching. That's the whole appeal of social media, right? Is to see what other people are doing. What are they buying? What are they doing? What do they do with their kids? What are they making for dinner, right? They want to see these things, and that's what they're watching. And so if you can, again, right, like spreading the seeds, right, every week, at least doing one post talking about what you love with your job with Scentsy, right? You can do it with your real job too. I don't, real job. This is a real job, but you know what I mean? The big job, right? So at least working it in once a week about the opportunity. And like I said, it does not have to be a join my team. It needs to be more of, this is why I do this, or this is what I love about this. And being authentic and being real and being honest, because people can tell if you're faking it online, right? I don't even know how many things I see on Instagram of some influencer of a activewear or something, and they're like, "Look at this and how amazing it is," right? And I'm like, "Okay, really? Like that's what you're excited about?" I honestly don't know if I could do another direct sales business, simply because everything that I love to do incorporates into my Scentsy, or into the things that I love, right? So I love to be a little crafty. So making the samples kind of fills that void. I love meeting new people and talking to moms, and I love my house to smell good. And I hate to say it, but I love the laundry, right? And I love to have a clean house, right? So being able to utilize those products and showing the things that I'm loving is not only sharing what I'm doing and working on my sales, but it's also speaking to those people who are thinking, "Hmm, I see that they've been doing that Scentsy thing for a while. They haven't quite stopped doing the Scentsy thing yet." Always talking about how much they love it. Maybe that could be something for me. And so that's how you really are planting the seeds in your business for sponsoring. And I don't mean to be the rain on the parade, but let me tell you that one thing I learned is that just because you do it today and it doesn't happen tomorrow does not mean that it's never going to happen. It just means that no one has done it yet. No one has joined you yet. So I know that we have some team members, specifically newer team members too, who are really like stressing themselves out about building a team. And honestly, at the end of the day, the time will come, because if you are doing everything consistently, it's just simply a matter of time. If you're not doing things consistently, then yeah, it is going to seem like forever, because again, what you're doing consistently is what people see. And if they see you only once a month talking about that Scentsy thing, it's not really fresh in their mind, is it? And this does not mean that you need to be online 24/7. I am certainly not online 24/7. I utilize all the resources, right? I will schedule posts on Facebook. I'll use Facebook to schedule those posts in my VIP group on my business page, right? You can use Visly if you want to have that expense. You can get Visly. It's like $10 a month. It will schedule posts in all the groups, any pages that you do, right? So you can do all of these things and not spend your time there. But I do make it a point to always follow up and go look at my messages because I want to see if I've gotten any responses from those things. But that was one of the big things that I had where, or one of the biggest things that I hear from a lot of people who will contact me and say, "Yeah, I've thought about joining Scentsy, but I don't have the time to do all that social media work, or I'm not very good at YouTube or Instagram, so I don't know if this is going to work for me." And my response always is, your business is not going to look like mine, first of all. And second of all, don't think for a second that I'm not finding the shortcuts of how to be consistent online and not be online all day long. We have a rule that we do not have our phones at the dinner table, right? So we don't have phones at the dinner table. We also have a rule that after a certain time at night, all the devices go away. And so we have to really make sure that we are also decompressing ourselves, because especially on social media, it's a very easy thing to do, and that is to compare yourself, to see, oh my gosh, they look like they're doing so well and I'm nothing like that. I'll never get to that point. Or their business is going so great and mine doesn't seem to be going anywhere. You start to play the comparison game, and it's just human nature, right? We all know that we shouldn't compare, but at the end of the day, we probably do. I mean, I know I do. And we have to make sure that we are just simply taking time to unplug, because our self-care and us being us is more important than trying to be online 24/7. I do not recommend being online 24/7. Please do not do that. Your family will thank you, your friends will thank you if you are not online 24/7. Don't feel like you have to do that. Find the ways that you can work it around you. And like I said, with a lot of people who will, say, "I'm not the YouTube person. I can't do YouTube." That's fine. You don't have to. You don't have to. Do what works for you. Do what works for you. And so if you really break it down to the brass tacks and bring it back down to the basics, that's really all it is. And it's doing the same thing every single month. because again, people are watching, people are noticing, people are seeing how consistent you are or aren't. So they're following those things. And that's when they will come to you. The people who want to join my team, 9 times out of 10, sometimes, and there are moments where someone will ask me or I will ask them and we'll jump into that join conversation. It just naturally happened that way because that's probably why they contacted me in the first place, right? It never ever starts for me with that conversation because it usually starts with building a relationship. Because once I've built the relationship, they understand that I'm not trying to just sell to them. I'm not just trying to get them to join my team. I don't need warm bodies, right? I want somebody who wants to join Scentsy to enjoy Scentsy and have fun and make some income and have a really great community. Those are the people I want. If I were to have 50 people join me tomorrow, if all 50 of them don't do anything with the business and never pick up their kit when it comes in the mail, then what's the point of having 50 people join your team? So it's not necessarily about how many, it's really about the quality and being able to pour into your team members and really helping them to realize what do they want out of this business. So asking yourself, what do I really want out of this business? What do I want it to do for me? Bring it back to the basics. Like I said, the very first basic I had was I want to pay the car payment every single month. I want that to come from me, not from a job, right? All the other bills were coming from those places, right? I wanted something that I could turn to Justin, I could turn to my husband and say, I did that because of this Scentsy thing. I did that. And still remember to this day that very first month that I was able to make the car payment. And I was in tears as I was typing in the number and making the payment online. And I was like, I did it. And I was so over the moon with myself. Nothing would have broken that spirit. And that's really where you get your motivation and your inspiration from. What do you really want this to be? And having that conversation with the people who are interested. What do they really want out of this? Because this business can really do a lot of things. It can do a whole lot of things, but we got to work. This is not a get rich quick scheme. It's putting in the work, it's being consistent, it is really doing the job, right? We're here to do that and to have fun while we're doing it. So I hope that has kind of covered, I know we've kind of covered a broad spectrum in all of this, but I know that we have a lot of newer consultants on the team. We have some that have been here for a long time. So hopefully some of these nuggets are things that have helped or things that have maybe helped you to maybe rein it in or pull it back in, right? Because I know for myself, just being able to, like I said, just bringing it back down to the basics every so often is what I have to do because I get so excited. The next thing I know, I've spent like $70 on Amazon. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, Jacqui? I have to pull myself back in. So it helps to do that and to keep that business mindset because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing is running a business. And that's where we need our focus to be. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.